I'll be honest, Bahrain was not at the top of my list, but the more I looked into it, the more I kept thinking, why do we know so little about this country? When Iran launched a wave of missiles and drones across the Middle East, this tiny island in the Persian Gulf was right in the crosshairs. It hosts the US Navy's Fifth Fleet. Travel advisories went out, investors got nervous, and a lot of people started asking whether the Gulf was still a safe place to put their money. But see, Bahrain has spent years trying to build an economy around banking, manufacturing, and tourism, all on an island smaller than the city of Los Angeles. I'm here with $100 to see how far I can get for a full day while also trying to understand this economy from the inside. I start my day by getting a karak chai. The price is $2. Karak chai is a strong spiced milk tea that you find on basically a lot of street corners in Bahrain. It came over with South Asian workers and became so embedded in daily life here that everyone drinks it now, locals and expats alike. $100 equals 37.7 Bahraini dinar. This is the second strongest currency in the world behind the Kuwaiti dollar. So what makes this so strong? Well, think about it. I mean, most countries you go to, if you give $1, you're gonna get more than one back, right? But there are a number of currencies where you actually get less, Bahrain being one of them. So here, 1 dinar is equal to $2.65, and that's pegged, meaning that never changes. Whatever happens with the US dollar, Bahrain will always keep the exchange rate the same. The highest banknote they have here in Bahrain is a 20. This is equal to $53. But it's kind of funny when you think about when a currency is so powerful, because this karak chai that I'm drinking is only 0.77 dinar. That's about $2, meaning if I want to pay for it, I can give 1 dinar and I'm going to get change back. So they have a half a banknote. The only other place I've seen this before is Oman. This right here, a half a banknote is equal to $1.32. Just remember though, just because a currency is strong, it doesn't necessarily mean a country is expensive or cheap. It has no correlation, right? It's just the government saying, hey, if you want to give us this, this is what our currency is worth. I walk around a historic district to really get a feel for this place. I'm starting to feel like this place is kind of small and that there's not a ton to do here. Now, to understand Bahrain's economy, you really just need to look at a map. This is a small island, about 800 square kilometers, connected to Saudi Arabia by a single bridge. It does not have the oil wealth that its neighbors have built their entire economies on. It doesn't have the landmass or population to compete on size, but what it has had is its location. It sits right at the center of Gulf trade with one of the biggest economies in the Arab world essentially next door. That's Saudi Arabia. Now that geography has pushed Bahrain to get creative earlier than most. When the civil war tore through Lebanon in the 1970s, it shut down Beirut's role as the financial capital of the Middle East, and Bahrain saw an opening. It moved fast, built out its banking sector, welcomed international institutions, and very quietly became the region's go-to financial hub at a time when the rest of the Gulf was still largely running on oil money. The price of a 16-minute Uber ride is gonna cost me $8 here in Bahrain. Bahrain also made an early move into industrial manufacturing, which almost no other Gulf country bothered with at the time. Aluminum Bahrain, known as Alba, became one of the largest aluminum producers in the world. Cars, buildings, infrastructure projects across global markets, a lot of that aluminum came from this small island in the Gulf. It gave Bahrain something valuable, a major export that had almost nothing to do with oil. But the honest reason that Bahrain got here first is actually simple. It had less oil to fall back on, so it had less time to waste. I walk around this cool area and come to this spot for lunch. It's a former house and it feels super authentic and unique. I order the kingfish. It's a locally caught fish. The price $10. I get the machbous rice. The price $2. This is Bahrain's national dish. It's a spiced rice cooked with meat, usually chicken or lamb, in a rich broth flavored with turmeric, dried limes, and a blend of Gulf spices. Think of it as Bahrain's answer to biryani, with its own distinct flavor profile that is actually deeply rooted in Bahraini culture. And I get this. This is rose milk. It's $3. It's basically cold milk mixed with rose syrup, giving it a bright pink color. So the oil reserves in Bahrain are relatively small, so it couldn't solely rely on just energy to fuel its economy. That's why they industrialized earlier than most of the Gulf, because they kind of had to. One of its biggest non-oil pillars is actually aluminum. Aluminum Bahrain is a company also known as Alba, and it's one of the largest
largest aluminum producers in the world. It supplies material that's used in cars, buildings, and infrastructure across the world. And this gave Bahrain kind of a rare export, which isn't oil. Another one here is finance. Manama became a regional banking center way before Dubai dominated the space, and it was supported by logistics, ports, and service industries that benefit from Bahrain's proximity to Saudi Arabia. But right now, the pressure point is on jobs. Government employment used to take most of the jobs for nationals, but that model is no longer sustainable. There's just too many people for those jobs. So today, Bahrain is pushing more of its citizens actually to work in the private sector, where, wages tend to be lower and competition is higher. So Bahrain started a policy called Bahrainization. It's designed to increase local hiring and reduce dependence on foreign labor. This helps employment numbers, but also exposes a deeper challenge. How do you balance productivity, wages, and even expectations in a post-oil economy? See, Bahrain's economy is not flashy, but it is realistic. With less oil to lean on, it was forced to adapt earlier, making harder trade-offs. And basically, this is an economy that is having to grow without the illusion of endless oil supplies. And that, to me, is what makes Bahrain so interesting.
After lunch, I walk around this area a bit and come to the Pearling Path. This is an area that tells the story of Bahrain's old pearl diving history. See, before synthetic pearls existed, Bahrain was basically the pearl capital of the world. Divers would free dive into the Persian Gulf to harvest oysters. It's a pretty unique site, and the price to enter is free. Next, I take a taxi for $8 to the business district and walk around. Diversifying this economy has been a big challenge. See, what Bahrain is dealing with now is a different kind of problem, and it is one that shows up not in trade reports, but like in everyday life. See, for a long time, the default career path for a Bahraini national was a government job. Stable salary, good benefits, predictable hours. The private sector was largely built on foreign workers who came from South Asia, Southeast Asia, and across the Arab world to fill roles that locals just didn't want. And it worked until it didn't. Oil revenues that once gave Gulf governments the budget to employ basically everyone who needed a job are not what they used to be. Now, tourism is the other big piece of the puzzle here, because Bahrain has had a pretty reliable formula for a long time. Saudis. They come across the bridge in large numbers because Bahrain offers things that have been hard to find inside Saudi, like restaurants that serve alcohol, nightlife, live music, even men and women socializing together openly. It's a short drive, but a noticeably different atmosphere. And for years, that was the real competitive advantage. But the problem now is that Saudi Arabia has been loosening up. Concerts are happening inside the kingdom now. Entertainment venues are opening. The social environment is changing. Bahrain has not lost its Saudi visitors yet, but the gap between the two countries is getting smaller, and that is a trend worth watching. At night, I take a $12 taxi and arrive to one of the trendy areas of town. There is a big Persian influence here, and I'm originally Persian, so I come to this Persian restaurant. I get the salad shirazi for $8. I order a glass of what's called khakeshir. It's a traditional Persian summer drink made from tiny flaxseed seeds dissolved in cold water. The price, $5. And for my main dish, I order tachin with chicken. This is a Persian baked rice cake layered with saffron marinated chicken, yogurt, and eggs. It's baked until the bottom forms a crispy golden crust. The price, $18. I end by walking around this trendy nightlife area where there are a lot of bars and clubs. My total for the day is $76, so I made it within my $100 budget with plenty to spare. Overall, Bahrain does not have a ton of things to do, and I would say prices are really affordable. People think rich countries are also expensive, but that's not always exactly true.
Bahrain has been super interesting. It's been pretty much what I expected. Almost a small town feel, but a country that is really in between its old self and its new self. I definitely could sense that it's been changing and evolving for some time, longer than some of the other Gulf countries that have a lot of newer initiatives. Here in Bahrain, it seems like even like the financial center, it wasn't new and glitz and glammy. It was kind of like, oh, this has been here for a while. One thing that shocked me was that up to 70% of the tourists here come from Saudi Arabia. They come here because there's looser rules, right? I mean, look at where I am right now. You have nightclubs, you have music in establishments, men and women are mixed, and even dancing, and there's live music and all these things. But Saudi is also relaxing some of its rules. So I almost wonder if its competitive advantage will stay that way at a time where Saudi is slowly becoming less and less strict. One thing I was surprised at is that I thought Bahrain would be more expensive. I was quite pleasantly surprised with the prices. Dinner I thought was reasonable, but I do think that in Dubai it would have been a little more expensive than what I paid. I was surprised, like some of the taxis are quite cheap. And yeah, I would have expected Bahrain to be a little more expensive given the amount of wealth it has and given the limited amount of land it has as well. I would recommend someone come to Bahrain just maybe 2-3 days just to see it. There's not as much going on in Bahrain as there is in Saudi, the UAE, Qatar. They're spending so much money to bring big events, conferences, so many different things that I think there's just more reasons to go to those countries. I think that there definitely could improve some more tourist activities if they want to really emphasize tourism, which they do. They want to increase the percentage of tourism of their GDP. But if they really are serious about that, I think they're going to have like just more things to do. Even when I was in the hotel, like a lot of the staff, they kind of just default and say like, oh, you're here for business. They just kind of assume people come here for business. I got this sense that they're not used to a lot of people coming for tourism, of course, Saudis aside. Let me know your thoughts below. Also, make sure you're subscribed to this channel because I'm taking you to a lot more countries this year. Also, I want to know, like, where do you think I should go next? Which country has an interesting economy that we should discover? Let me know, and I will see you in the next one.